You're welcome to the African Lens News Channel. If you value justice, freedom, and thoughtful discussion, you're in the right place. If you're joining us for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe to stay informed and connected to us. Your engagements will help this video to reach more people. Thank you very much. During a digital press briefing just yesterday on May 30th, 2025, General Langley expressed grave concerns about the escalating activities of terrorist networks in Africa's Sahel region, comprising countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. He highlighted that groups affiliated with ISIS and Al-Qaeda, such as ISIS Sahel and Jama'at Nusratul Islam wal Muslimin, popularly known as JNIM, are thriving amid governmental instability, particularly in Burkina Faso. Langley emphasized that the expansion of these extremist groups toward the West African coast is alarming, as it may offer them opportunities to fund operations through smuggling and trafficking, increasing risks to both regional and U.S. security. He noted that JNIM's rapid growth, especially since 2022, raises particular concern due to its potential to target the U.S. homeland. Hold on, as I am going to play the conversation that went on during the press briefing, and you'll be surprised at the answers the general gave to all the questions he was asked. You could tell that his responses don't add up, and there is probably a hidden agenda. Let's listen to the conversation and come back. Take your time to listen carefully to General Langley's responses.
Thank you, General Langley. We'll now begin the question and answer portion of today's briefing. So for our first question, I'll go to Chris Gordon of Air and Space Forces magazine. And his question is, what are the consequences of the U.S. leaving Niger? What alternative basing arrangements have been agreed to or are being pursued?
Oh, okay. Hey, thanks for that question, Chris. I'll just say that, since we left this year in September of last year, we're observing a rise in attacks by violent extremist organizations, not only in this year, but across the Sahel, to include Nigeria as well, and emanating and going into Burkina Faso and Mali. Now, this increases is measurable by both frequency and complexity of these attacks, driven by persistent and social economic grievances, and the proliferation of weapons and increased capable terrorist groups across the board. So, unfortunately, with our withdrawal from the region, we have lost our ability to monitor these terrorist groups closely, but continue to liaise with partners to provide what support we can.
Thank you, General. Our second question goes to Fadi Mansour, Al Jazeera Media Network. And the question is, how hopeful is General Langley that AFRICOM's efforts in Libya will lead to military reunification? And are there any considerations to redeploy U.S. forces to the country?
Okay, thanks for that question, Fadi. I'll just say we've been meeting with and talking to both sides in Libya, trying to find ways to get the country on the path for reunification, and we're doing it. We're doing it through the security construct first, and hopefully we can set the stage and set the conditions for diplomatic process to continue. But at this Chad conference here in Kenya, we invited both sides to send their senior military leaders. Last year in both Botswana, even the previous year, both sides were in attendance. So we always welcome both sides at the Chad conference, where we had a meaningful exchange of ideas. But there's no discussion on troop movements. I'll just say that.
All right, thank you very much. Let's turn now to Jessica Donati of Reuters in Senegal. And the question is, can you offer your analysis on the latest series of major attacks in Nigeria and the Sahel? Do you see signs that groups are cooperating more broadly?
Well, Jessica, the recent attacks in Nigeria and across the Sahel are deeply concerning. The scale and brutality of some of these incidents are really troubling. So we're monitoring this closely, and these events and offering of sharing intel with Nigerian and also regional partners in that area remains constant. We are committed to supporting one of the most capable militaries in the region in Nigeria. Unfortunately, with our withdrawal out of the region, though, we have lost some of our ability to monitor terrorist attacks closely, but we continue to liaison with our partners to provide what support we can.
Thank you very much. Now let's go to Mr. Ngala Chimtom of In-Depth News of Cameroon. General Langley, in early April, before the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee, you questioned Burkina Faso's governance, asserting that its mining resources were being used to sustain the current regime. However, recent developments suggest a different picture. Reports indicate that Burkina Faso now earns $1,200 per ounce of gold, significantly up from $300 under French oversight. Traditionally, President Traore has allocated over $179 million in gold proceeds to provide farming equipment aiming to accelerate agricultural production. Given these facts, does this shift in resource allocation alter your previous assessment that raw material revenues primarily serve to keep Traore in power?
Well, Ngala, let me start with this. Every nation makes independent decisions regarding their security, and including partnerships. We all respect their sovereignty. Given these reports, I'm glad to hear that there's a shift in resource allocation that benefits civil society, because the enduring solution to counterterrorism does start with protecting civil society writ large. So from a military perspective, which were my comments were directed towards, concerns remain on military resourcing management of what external military support is received for the whole fight of terrorism across their sovereign nation. So the U.S. seeks opportunities to collaborate with Burkina Faso on counterterrorism challenges. I invited Burkina Faso's Chief of Defense to the African Chiefs Defense Conference because I believe in maintaining that dialogue. It's still open. It's still open conversation to be able to address the challenges of being able, and solutions to be achieved through our collaboration for addressing the terrorist problem, which is the epicenter within their great country. And the great people of Burkina Faso deserve us to have that dialogue. Thanks.
My people, is this not strange? Now, the same forces that stayed silent when France was looting gold and burning villages are suddenly worried about Africa's security. Where was that concern when our people were dying under foreign-backed regimes? It is obvious that what threatens them is actually not terrorism. What threatens them is the rise of a continent that is finally saying no more to foreign interference. Africans are wide awake now. This time, the African people will choose their destiny, not generals from overseas. If the West wants peace, then they simply have to respect Africa's sovereignty. The path forward requires nuanced understanding, genuine partnerships, and a commitment to addressing the root causes of instability. What are your thoughts on General Langley's warnings and the broader implications for Africa's sovereignty and security? Share your perspectives in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to African Lens for more in-depth updates across the African continent.